Hello guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, feel free to subscribe, comment and like, and feel free to share with any of your friends or colleagues to critique it or just have a laugh. Feel free either way. So before going into the chapter, just to let you know, I will leave a timestamp for those people that are not interested in my ramblings. But solo leveling or alone eye level has been a series I've been wanting to review for a very long time. It's not that I've not had a chance or anything like that. It's just when I was reading it initially, it was amongst a time period where essentially I wasn't doing reviews at all. So I hadn't done it for 2 years, and when I came back to doing it very recently, it'd been on break, and it just essentially has come back over the last couple of weeks. So solo leveling for me has been one of those series that it was kind of like a something that I found a lot of people knew about initially, and the hype was very much real with it because a lot of people kind of jumped on the bandwagon, and now it's this big thing, and hopefully we'll get an anime very soon. It is based on a light novel series. It is finished technically in the light novel, and where as of this recording at chapter 120, the series or season 1 finished at chapter 110. Um, Although there was two other chapters for the most recent arc, and then we moved into the current arc that we're in right now, which is the build up of this guild and chapter 120. So with that being said, rumblings aside, without further ado, let's get into this review. So. Solo leveling. It's one of those chapters where you can get easily hyped, and you can easily miss some of the important things that we see in this chapter. And there's a lot of things that happen in this chapter that I can't help but smile. And we're going to get into it. So, as this chapter carries on, essentially from the way the last chapter ended, the Red Blade tribe leader senses the incoming of a terrifying power, which is the main character Jin-Woo on his wyvern, and he's come to save the day. And there's a touching reunion between him and his sister Jin-Ah. She's in tears, and he isn't very happy about this. And literally at the end of the last chapter, he literally says to him, "Don't move," and he's very stern. He is pissed, and he tells him not to move. He then lets out Igris and some of the soldiers, and essentially they're going to escort the kids off the premises to a safe location, with the wyvern waiting at the bottom, I'm assuming to fly them away. And the orcs, these great warrior orcs, can't help but tremble, and he says, "I told you not to move." And I really like that because he's so angry at this situation that he's kind of like insulted even that you could even dare think of attacking his family. And his natural reaction is anger and rage, and you can see he's just seething, he's just emanating this lust for destruction right now. And Guruk Tara, I believe his name. Sorry, I'm not going to bother to remember this guy's name because he's going to be dead very soon. He starts questioning. He's like, "Why can't you speak our tongues? And like why is it you can speak our language?" And it's ultimately to do with the other side, the other dimensions that these monsters are coming from, and it's linked to the ability of the Shadow Monarch as to why he can understand them. It isn't the first time. If you cast your memory back to season 1 when they get locked in that, I believe it's the red gate, the gate that turns into a red gate. There's those elven characters that essentially can understand him, and this is again reinforced in this chapter because he doesn't say anything to him because he's just like pissed. He's really angry. So they try attacking him. He uses essentially his techniques uh, that he took off Igris, and just demolishes everybody, and then he pins down the leader who's like, "Forgive me, please," and he's like, why did you kill all these humans? And they're like, we hear a voice in our head to kill humans. And he asks the question, the main character, does these voices tell you to kill me? And this is again reinforcing that same conversation where when they were trapped in that red gate, the monsters in there were not interested or even told to kill Jin-Woo. They were told to kill the humans. So essentially he's not human anymore. Whatever power he's hosting has not made him human. It's something different. And then we essentially get what's going to happen. This guy is going to be done off screen. But ultimately, it's going to be a few things. He's going to torture him, he's going to demolish him, and he might even resurrect him. So look out for that. One thing I find interesting in all of this, other than the fact that he's not human, they're not attacking him, he can understand the language, which we've seen a few times now, is the fact that we've got a differentiation between these orcs. So we have these high orcs, and then in the previous chapters, these grand orcs, these warrior orcs, are seen at a higher level because the chieftain was able to basically deal damage to these orcs that were from the Jin-Woo Shadow Army. So I like the fact that you've got orcs, high orcs, and you're seeing these different tribes and these different types of demons and orcs, and you can see this hierarchy. So hopefully you can get some of these orcs as well, add it to his collection. So he's got that next level. So if these high orcs are considered A grade fighters, they might be S grade, or if these are B grade fighters, you could be considered A rank fighters. So I like the fact that he's got that. I mean, they're not gonna touch Beru the Ant King anytime soon, but it's good to have these stronger characters, and which will only going to be enhanced by the abilities that Jin-Woo has. Sorry. Speaking of Beru, we get to see him in action. Now, Beru, or the Ant King, probably comes out with probably the best line at the end of this chapter, which is a cliffhanger of a chapter. And the way he says that is just it was funny because it was like it made me chuckle a little bit. Those one-liners, he's like basically like Arnold in the 90s. It's these one-liners that he's just spewing out, and they're just amazing and they're just funny as well at the same time. But they're deadly serious. He's deadly serious about everything he's saying. It's just funny the way he's saying it. That being said, essentially what happens is they get to the boss for this this area. As you know, basically the Shadow Army that basically has come out, the 20 odd people, ants really, are just eating everything. They don't care. They don't really care about the humans. Bar Beru healing, the healer. They're basically going to do what they want because they ask the question, what do you want to do with the humans? He goes, leave them alone. What do you do with the non-humans? Do as you like. So they're going to demolish everybody else. The humans are going to survive, but they basically essentially told the humans, listen, stay out of our way. Let us deal with it. And they're going on to the merry way. And then the boss turns out to be like an arch-licked who apparently that type of monster destroyed a Chinese guild. I've got his name. The Golden Dragon. Apparently they were annihilated by this type of character or this type of demon. Was it this specific Arch-Lich that did this? Or was it someone similar of similar power? It doesn't really matter because as soon as the Arch-Lich realizes who is there, they go, the Monarch Shadow Army is here? What are you doing here? Why are you here? And then the lines start coming out. We are the chosen ones. We've been chosen by the Monarch. Who are you, the non-chosen people? And he goes, no, I want to speak to the Monarch. And he stops him because for a person who's just about to die, you talk way too much. And that made me think of so many different things. It made me think of some anime movies. It made me think of Botchamania. But that line it made me laugh. If I wasn't around people when I was reading at the time, they would have thought I was crazy if I started laughing out loud. But that actually line was hilarious for him to say, you talk too much. But you can ultimately see that him having this monarch ability, the shadow monarch ability, is held in high regard by the monsters from the other side, to the point where when he was escaping, well, not really escaping, but when Jin-Woo realized something was wrong with his sister and he was leaving the gate, they moved out of the way. They're like, all right, we've got no problem with you, sir. Go ahead. He's basically like royalty, without revealing too much of spoilers from the actual, the main novel. He's essentially royalty, and they don't want to mess with him, which is why the arc leaked was so surprised. It's like, what's going on? We've got no problems with you. What's going on? Let me speak to him. I'll sort this out. Let me delegate. And he's like, you ain't gonna delegate. No, and he just gives him a good old jab through the chest, because ultimately he's got permission to kill him. Jin-Woo did say, oh yeah, save the boss for me. He said, yeah, do you want? And he's doing what he wants. And as we know, Beru's got, the Ant King has a bloodlust like now that he will kill everybody if he had a chance. And he's going to do that. So with that being said, brilliant ending to the chapter. Look forward to next week. Bearing in mind what I'm thinking is happening over the next couple of days and this next week, I know One Piece will be coming out probably today or tomorrow. Black Clover is off. I do need to do a catch-up on My Hero Academia. Next Thursday, I'm assuming World Trigger will be out. So hopefully Solo Leveling 121 and World Trigger on Thursday. And then everything else will catch up after that. So hopefully you should see a regular four-chapter weekly review and then the monthly chapter of World Trigger moving forward. With that being said, without further ado, I must bid you adieu. Thank you. See you later. Peace.